So we have the National Uniform Manual on Traffic Control Devices, which governs how a traffic control device should appear, where it should be placed, the size for the appropriate speed for the size, the legibility for distance and everything. And that was widely being ignored. But what happened is we also had the human factors in here. The reason we did engineering studies in the safety audit is we found that the people driving at a speed safe for conditions, the public should be the primary consideration for how we post a road, because most people are reasonable and their actions are safe, and what their actions are should be the judge of how we post a road, because what we're designed how a person's travel speed is the actual design of the road, the conditions present, and the features, not a number on a sign. And that was proven time and time and time again. And in the last 30, 40 years, every time they do a study which confirmed the old standards were actually the best standards, they would bury it. They wouldn't publish it. A city would do a study and say, yes, it's true. A city would do a study where this is what they did in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, look at a road. The previous assumptions turned out to be true and were verified time and time again. But the national system went out and said, well, if it's faster speeds, it must be unsafe. It's just obvious. It's just standard dogma. None of that was true. Then they forced it on everybody by eliminating any standard that had to be met. You have to excuse me here. I'm getting a little bit upset because I'm get so upset on how criminal their actions have been and how it's cost people lives, their fortunes, their very ability to work. And they're just ripping people off at it's unimaginable levels right now. And in fact, that's what's really got me going in this. Not only has the fatalities gone up 10,000, way above what any other indication would be, there's created a criminal theft system that's beyond scale. So not only was there a uniform manual on traffic control devices, there was a uniform manual on vehicle codes. They drove a stake in the heart of that because it was competing. In fact, I remember when, just before they canceled it altogether, even as part of the federal mandate, and it's one of the guiding principles of their mandate, which they eliminated because it was a threat to their very existence on the enforcement side. They had sections in there. I remember some guy in New Jersey was trying to put in their police state policies as opposed to what the actual engineering data and how that side had said that what they're trying to do isn't true. So they just simply shut down the whole agency and completely ignored it. And that's really critical because that was the standard for judicial practice. Now, judicial practice was also in the mandates of the Act, and it required all judicial decisions in the country to be based essentially uniform. That's not even the case on any scale of imagination, never has been, and they've never enforced it. So let's look at it this way. We have increased fatalities. I have a place in Arizona, and there they did some traffic calming. The traffic calming currently practiced, they not only eliminated all the standards, the Arizona DOT doesn't even know what to do, and the people doing it are completely incompetent on designing. The 85th percentiles are 65 miles to 70 miles an hour on one section. They put in a traffic calming curb where they actually encroached into the travel lane 3 or 4 inches and completely covered the double yellow line and actually went into the traffic lane with a curb that's a vertical sidewall. And they're saying that, well, it's well within the standards of Arizona. It's not in anybody's standards, nowhere. Nobody would put a right-face curve encroached into a traffic lane where traffic's doing 60 miles an hour because the design is a limited access expressway with no on points for much of the roadway. I've been watching accident after accident, trailers being destroyed, cars being totaled. I was at a gas station. I pull in, I ask the tow truck driver. One tow truck driver, I said, what's going on out there on the highway? He says he's doing about 50 tows a month from vehicles that have been immobilized from the traffic calming design of the median. Think about that. 50 accidents a month that have disabled the vehicles in the roadway from one tow truck driver. Let's say he's wrong. Let's say it's only 30. But I can tell you right now, I've seen many people over there doing other things. And this is during the off season. And this is a place where a lot of people are pulling trailers and boats and RVs and quads and everything else. I can't even think of the mayhem it's causing the people. I saw one girl with her car totaled, an elderly woman with her car totaled. That's $400,000 a month in public damage and all the mayhem's causing to people's lives. And the traffic engineer in the local paper said, well, it's within our standards. And if you do have a problem, we have a form on the website. You can go and make a claim to Arizona DOT, but we're within our standards and we're not going to fix this. That just shows you how uninformed the decisions are on actual safety. There should be some system, and I've always claimed that if you have a large accident, a large incident report, it should trigger something to be done, to be brought to the awareness of the safety engineers. It's not happening. You know, it's just incredulous that kind of stuff is going on.